Does your life feel threatened when you're around the police?
No, not really.
Yes. Yeah, I do.
I think that's kind of my privilege, is that it doesn't.
Because I'm white.
Around police, there's definitely this heightened sense of awareness of knowing, like, because of the color of my skin, I am being looked at a different way.
They're always looking at you funny. You see the judgment.
I have a lot of privilege surrounding that, and so those who do feel threatened are typically people of color.
I am a black woman, as you can see, and the police definitely has a historical past with black people and just violence.
I'm a cis white male, so I'm not like, there's not structural violence against me like that. I feel comfortable and I don't feel like there's a threat to my life.
I don't trust white cops specifically too. Black cops, they have their moments.
And I think there's definitely a lot of cops out there that A, abuse their power, and B, see a threat when there isn't one.
What was like your worst experience you've had with the cops?
I really don't. I don't think I have. I mean, I come from a pretty privileged neighborhood.
What was your worst experience you've had with the cops?
It's just when I was with my brother one time and we got pulled over just because his lights weren't on, and it was just like, next thing you know, more than one police is showing up. There's like dogs outside, and it's literally just questioning us on where we're going, and we live up the road. So just even that made me like, boom, turn on my camera, like start videoing out of instinct. So that was something that just made me realize like who I am in my place here, like in America as a black person.
What was like your worst experience you've had with the police?
Probably seeing people and like colleagues get arrested at protests.
What was your worst experience you've had with the police?
It took like 5 police to pull me over, in which the first police pulled me over. She didn't say, why she just pulled me over or anything. And then she didn't talk to me until the other 5 police got there. So I was very scared because I'm like, they basically insinuated that I stole my car.
What would you say is like the best experience you've had with the police?
Shoot, I don't have one.
Do you think the police target a certain race?
Yes. It's not what I think, it's like what we know based on the data and science that's available to us.
Any marginalized group, specifically people of color, I feel like that affects them way more.
Do you think the police target a certain race?
Yes.
And who would you say?
Black people. Simply because a lot of neighborhoods that are predominantly black are over-policed.
Because there's a structure of violence that's set up there to kind of target them.
And why do they do that?
I'm pretty sure it's along the lines of racism and prejudice and white supremacy.
Do you think the police targets a certain race?
Most definitely.
Yes.
Of course.
Obviously, we can talk about what we see in the media, but just from what I've observed, we saw that with George Floyd, we see that every day, really. They ask you to, take out license or registration, and they think that you're reaching for a gun when you're not.
Why do cops target certain races?
I think they tie people's melanation to danger.
So if you're not like what cops assume to be what an American is, like, then that can leave you targeted.
Who do you think they're targeting specifically?
Minorities, black and brown people. I feel like that's the way they're programmed. I mean, it's all systematic.
It's a system. Like I would say that even if you go in with good intentions, I feel like the way that they're trained, maybe
They already have these prejudices in their mind.
a lot of times it was just kind of the rhetoric, like inside.
Probably a combination of like how they're trained, the environment they're raised in.
Like within the training, and a lot of times it's not said outright, like you're not going out to like target a black person, but you're going to go into a neighborhood that's predominantly black.
The structure just lends itself to where that's the easiest thing for police to do in a lot of cases, which is go to areas that are poorer.
Why do you think they're trained that way, the police?
Everything goes back to slavery. Back in those times, it was people mandating, watching over slaves, what we can do, what we can't do, and like it's that same like system of practicing, and white people fear black people in a sense, and so that's where it still comes from, why they treat us this way from 18, 19, 2000, so yeah.